Hey everyone, welcome to another video of Ielts, and in this video we're going to look at a process diagram essay in Ielts writing task 1. Now, I know what you're thinking. It looks pretty scary to start with. It's looking super complicated and you only have 20 minutes to do this. Shit. So what are you going to do? Follow these steps and hopefully it'll get a bit better. And there's 5 steps in general. So let me bring this up for you. So the first step is to find out where the process actually starts. So you can see that here we're talking about how bricks are being manufactured in the building industry. And as you can see, this is probably the first stage where the digger is kind of digging out the clay. And then 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, step 6, step 7. So this is where it starts and this is where it ends. And that's all you need to do for step 1. Super simple. Step 2 is to write down the words, in this case, mostly the verbs to describe the actions involved. For example, to dig, correct that. To place, I think that's a verb. Sent into, to add, to pour, to send through, to cut, to cool, to hold, raise the temperature, reduce the temperature, and then to load onto the truck. Now, I would super recommend to write all these verbs down, because when you're actually writing them down when it comes down to your essay, you're not going to actually remember all the words. So it's so much more easier to remember the words at first, which you can then just pull into your essay whilst you're writing, because there's a chance that you might forget. And now some might say, well, the process chart looks pretty simple. And then what I don't want you to do is just to use simple words. The opportunity here is to use some good vocabulary to show off your lexic that could give you a better score. And that's what we're trying to do in step 2. So write down those words separately or next to the question paper or wherever you want to write it down so that you can pull them on later. And that's basically step 2. All right, easy peasy. Step 3 is to write down a 2 to 3 line introduction to sort of hook your reader into the topic. Bear in mind, this is also a requirement to write an overview of the process. So I have 2 overviews or titles, if you want to call them that I've written here. And you can choose whichever one you want. So I'll read the first one out. The chart shows how bricks are manufactured in the building industry. Overall, there are 7 steps in the process from start to finish. The clue here, or the hint here, however you want to call it, is to kind of mention the number of steps. I think that's quite crucial. Now, I've counted 7 steps. Some might say, ooh, sand and water could be an 8th step. Don't worry about it. As long as you have the basic number of steps that's logically present, that's all you need to do. I've written another one, which is the pictures show, oopsies. The pictures show, not pictures. If you want to think about it as one picture, the picture shows that there are 7 stages involved in the making of a brick in the building industry from start to finish. So that's 2 different ways of writing it, but obviously you only need to write one overview. So you can either write this one or this one. And you can see the similarity between these 2 is that I've mentioned the number of steps. You can also call them a stage. It's fine. I like to show off my lexic. And that's fine. That's good. All right. So that's really step 3. All right. Step 4, use logical steps. Now, what do I mean by logical steps and words like this? What I mean by that is you want to say words like the first stage begins with, during, at this moment, the next stages, the following stages, following this, the last step is. I try not to say in conclusion. Please don't say in conclusion in a process chart. I don't know why. It just doesn't sound right. Because you're talking about stages like step 1, step 2, step 3. And then conclusion is more, I would say, for a writing task 2 essay. That makes more sense. So that's really step 4. Again, write down these words because it might help you to remember them and write them more quickly rather than actually remembering it. I find that writing it down, like these clues, helps me to write my essay much more faster. Remember, you only have 20 minutes, so you got to make use of every moment that you have. And one more thing is that you're not going to use all these words or phrases. You might use some, you might not use some. So hey ho. Finally, step 5. You want to use the passive voice of the verb because you're explaining a process. It happens in the passive voice. For example, here you could say the clay is dug out from the soil instead of the digger digs the clay from the soil. So that's kind of a bit boring. So you want to use the passive voice. If you want to write the passive voice down of the verb, fair enough, write them down. I prefer just to, remember it. And that's really it. You've got 5 different steps to write down an Ielts process essay. Now let's go and find out how to write this. Let's put it together in 150 words because that's what we want to do. Now I've already written an essay and I've used all these words. I'm not going to read it again out to you. It's kind of boring. I'll put it up on the screen and then you can take your time to go through it to understand how the steps fit into it. This is just one way of doing it. There are multiple ways that you can write about it. What I advise you is after watching this video, if you have any questions, write them down in the comment section below and then we can maybe have a chat or I can give you some more hints or tips on how to make it better. All right, let's go on to the actual essay. In the chart, in the essay, I've highlighted the phrases that you want to start your essay with in orange. So this helps you to focus on them. I've also paragraphed it. It's important to paragraph it. For example, the first paragraph is basically these 2 steps. And the second paragraph is basically these 3 steps. It depends how you want it how to paragraph, but remember to paragraph. I instead of writing it as one long essay, it's nice to paragraph. It makes it give a neat appearance and it looks quite, logical and easy to read as well. Final thing that I want to share with you is also after you've finished writing it, make sure that you've check to see that you've included all the stages in it. Sometimes it's easier to miss 1 or 2 stages or a couple of details. You can see that it's quite a small essay. I mean, at least it's not about the size of it. It's about the quality and it's about how much detail there is in this task. The devil here is in the detail. You want to be as detailed as possible. The better the detail, the higher the mark. So, and obviously doing all this in 20 minutes is going to be super hard. And it'll only come with practice. Right. And that's it for this video, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you write something down in the comment section below if you liked it, hated it, whatever. I don't really care if you hate it, but if you liked it, make sure that you write something down. It really helps me make more videos in the future. That's it. Thank you very much. Bye for now.